Never miss an episode of the Final Furlong podcast. Subscribe now on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And now, here's your host, Emmet Kennedy.
Welcome to the Weekend Betting Guide. I've got Andy Newton, Jake Wilkes, and Peter Michael here alongside me as we preview the key races on Saturday at Cheltenham, Doncaster. We might throw a bit of Fairyhouse into the mix as well. The last time Jake Wilkes was on the podcast, he had just tipped the 66-1 winner of the July Cup. No pressure, Jake, to repeat that feat. We're going to begin with one of the feature races. There's some really interesting races over the weekend. A lot of them will shape the way of the Cheltenham Festival. You have to go back to the year 2003 for the last horse to win the Beulah and the Champion Hurdle in the same season. That horse was Rooster Booster. This year, there's a strong chance, though, that it will be a Champion Hurdle winner to emerge from this race. Sergino bids to give Nicky Henderson his 5th win in the last 8 runnings of this race. His 8th win in total since the year 2000. He's a dominant favourite for it. But in the New Lion, he faces a really, really interesting challenger, a horse who might have won the Fighting Fifth. Certainly was in contention to do so on his first run of the season before coming down. His connections think this race will suit him. And in a coin flip, Andy, basically between these two, I think he's very interesting at odds against. What's your take on the race?
Yeah, Sergino has to give £3 away as well. Probably worth mentioning that. But then with the revised, it's only £1 in it. So like you say, it is a coin flick. The betting doesn't really reflect that. Sergino's like 1-2. The New Lion's more like 2-1. So there's going to be people, obviously in both camps. Brentford Hope was second last year, and the Mean Lion, that will love the soft ground, but they're just going to be fighting it out for second, for third and fourth. And it's great that we've got the first and second favourites for the Champion Hurdle going sort of head to head, because this race, over the years hasn't really had that. Like you say, we haven't had a winner of this go on and win the Champion Hurdle since Rooster Booster back in the day. So there's a 23 or 4 year sort of gap there to overcome. And the whole Champion Hurdle thing is as I was saying before, was like a bit like a sort of a sliding doors moment with State Man. I mean, State Man has just caused carnage all over the place with, Sergino was supposed to go chasing, and obviously the Donnellys have thought, right, no, we want to win Champion Hurdle. So Sergino's back and, over hurdles. Amsterdam, probably not quite as good as they thought that he's going to be. Then we've got the whole Constitution Hill issues with, falling and running on the flat, and he might still turn up in the Champion Hurdle. We don't know. Lossy Mouth probably would have gone Champion Hurdle route if Sergino wasn't here, but Sergino's probably scared her off, so she's going to go to the mares. So there's all these sort of conundrums that have changed, really, the sort of history books that could have happened. Sergino could have been Queen Mother Champion Chase winner this year, and so on and so on. If he wins the Champion Hurdle, are they going to send him chasing? Probably not. Probably not, just staying, mopping up Champion Hurdles for, the next 3 or 4 years. So we'll see. But the key is, was the New Lion going to win the Fighting Fifth? You have to decide that in your head. Me personally, I think he probably was going to. I think Golden Ace probably would have, put up a battle. Sergino obviously beat Golden Ace by 6 lengths last time out, and you have to sort of wonder, would the New Lion, if it had won at Newcastle, beating Golden Ace by 6 lengths or more? I'm not sure he would have done. So with that, I just think Sergino just is a superstar, isn't he? I think that the New Lion is going to be suited the soft ground and the Cheltenham Hill and all that. But Sergino's won here as well. Won the Triumph Trial, didn't it, a couple of years ago? So track will be fine. 5-4 for the Champion Hurdle. Probably go odds on after this, I think. But yeah, it's a fascinating race, but Sergino for me.
I completely understand why. He's only raced 4 times since he won the Triumph Hurdle Trial on this card 2 years ago. So there's an awful lot of talent there, but also there's a fragility. And to be fair, the 4 races that he's run in, they've been special performances in their own right. And I can absolutely see why you want to back him. 5-2 on with 1xBet in Ireland is the price currently, and that's reasonably fair. But with all due respect to the connections of Kerry Lee and Harry Derham, the Mean Lion and Brentford Hope would need to start now. They've got no chance. So this is a coin flip. It's very, very rare that you can get 2-1, about a 50-50 chance, and I'm going to take it. I'm going to go with the New Line. He's only got £2 to find with Sergino on Timeform figures. He's only £1 off him on RPRs, £2 off him on top speed. In a coin flip, I'll take him, Jake. But who are you with?
I'd say, I think Sergino's the pound for pound best horse in training at the moment. Like you say, the health issues would be the only reason I wouldn't go piling in anti-post for him for the Champion Hurdle. It would be the sort of thing where you'd be scrolling through any social media and you see a picture of Sergino come up and you'd be instantly worried, but you'd be thinking, oh God, what's happened now? Talent-wise, I think he's probably the best horse in training. Constitution Hill, it was always like, well, where's Constitution Hill going to go? Oh, if he's injured or he's out, oh, let's send Sergino there. Like, he was always sometimes like an afterthought, which was always bizarre to me when you have a horse of this much talent.
Yeah.
He races enthusiastically. He was obviously very fresh the last day when he won. I think it was at Kempton when he beat Golden Ace in the Christmas hurdle. He jumps a little bit big, but he's obviously schooled over fences. He was schooling over fences, obviously, when with a champion chase in mind before Constitution Hill and all that drama happened. So he jumped a little bit big that day. But I just think the way he tanks for a race, he over races massively, and yet there's still that finishing kick. There's still that turn of foot that when Nico eventually says, go on, let's go and win the race, there's always something under the bonnet. He'll have no issues with the course. Like you say, when he beat Burdett Road in the Juvenile trial, the New Lion, I think the New Lion's best chance is it's going to be on the new course, which is going to favour him slightly. Stamina-wise, that will help. But I just think he needs a little bit further. I've got my own opinions on the Fighting Fifth. I thought he would have won just like Andy as well. But it was worrying. It worried me how he acted when he was out in front. Like, he didn't look like a natural front runner. I feel like he might have to take a lead from Sergino just to try to settle him and just race and try cruise. But I feel like Sergino might have the kick on him. So Sergino, for me, the New Lion's a great horse in himself, but I think he needs a bit further. I think he'll jump a fence in time as well. But yeah, Sergino for me.
Okay, two for Sergino.
None of the others.
Nah, the others don't count at all. Two for Sergino. It's the New Lion for me. Peter Michael, settle it. Who are you going to go with?
Well, I don't think it'll be close. I think Sergino will laugh all over him, to be honest. I think he's a league above him. Simple as that. I know we said that about Ilate Thompson last time. I think he totally underperformed. He was obviously beaten before he fell, but as Jake said, obviously he's a horse with illness issues, but he seems to be well over that now, and he was impressive enough the last time, and he'll just have too much speed for the New Lion. He'll just come there cantering and leave him and kick on and win by 4 or 5 lengths easy enough, I'd say.
Okay, I'm probably going to have a very small few quid on the straight forecast, the New Lion to beat the mean line. Just in case something absolutely insane. My name now, is it that just bad? In case, no, just in case something absolutely insane happens, because the mean line, I think, is absolutely the key better horse than Brentford Hope. I mean, he's rated 151. Yeah, yes, he has to give weight to Brentford Hope for sure, and Brentford Hope was second in this race to Constitution Hill a year ago. But I'm going to take a very, very small few quid on that, and I'm taking the New Lion because, again, this is a coin flip. And if somebody gives you 2-1 about a 50-50 shot, then you should take it. So
it's a coin flip.
These are the only 2 horses that can win. The other 2 have got no chance.
A coin flip, though. They don't have nearly the same chance.
Well, it's only pounding it on the ratings, I suppose.
If Sergino bounces from Kempton, if he hits a hurdle the wrong way, then your 3-1 on is gone. And he won't recover from that. So look, he's absolutely the best horse in the race. But this is a coin flip. It's 3-1 on that heads comes up.
It's not a coin flip, guys.
It's 2-1 on that tails comes up. I'll take the 2-1 about tails.
And you probably need a double-headed coin to win that coin flip, Emmet.
Heads I win, tails you lose. Is that it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Coin flips according to Peter Michael. All right, this episode is brought to you by 1xBet. If you're betting in Ireland, there's over 7,000 events for you to get stuck into every single day with the 1xBet website. Loads of new customer sign-up offers, fast withdrawals, loads of incentives for you to sign up, particularly with all the big racing coming your way. 1xBet are the sponsor of the Grand National Trial at Punchestown. Big betting partner for the first ever Good Friday card at the Curragh and the Irish Guineas meeting as well. Lots of things to be excited about. They're the official betting partner of FC Barcelona and the European champions Paris Saint-Germain. You can join now by clicking the link in the episode description. It'll take you right to the 1xBet website in Ireland. 18 plus, terms and conditions apply. Gamble responsibly. Your game, your odds, your 1xBet. We're going to race through a couple of the ones at Cheltenham. We'll do this. Keep it pushing tight, guys. We'll be succinct here. The 12:05, the Timeform Novices Handicap Chase on Tempor 2. I can't use my mouth words. I don't know what's going on with me today. It's crazy. On Tempor 2 was a beaten favourite in this race back in 2016 before going on to win the Ultima. Landaire took this race, so that Simply the Bets, Mr. Whitaker, Stage Star and Jagwar, all before going on to win at Cheltenham. Several horses have placed in this race or been beaten in it to go on to win, just like on Tempor 2 as well. It's a really good guide to success at the Cheltenham Festival, but who do you fancy on Saturday? Andy Newton.
Yeah, I mean, Jagwar obviously won this, like you say, last year. I mean, I haven't got a great opinion on this, to be honest with you. I think it's a tricky opener for punters at Presbury Park on Saturday. And I mean, look, Nichols has won it twice in the last 3 years, but the only runner he's got in it is that Quebecois, who's on a bit of a recovery mission. Could bounce back. Freddie Ginger rides 20-1 potentially. We've got 9 runners in there, but I haven't really got an opinion. I think the Henderson horse might be, a bit better than we saw last time out as well. But look, I'm definitely won't be having a bet in this one. It's literally
okay. If you don't have an opinion, we'll go very, very quickly. Jake, do you have a thought on the race?
Yeah, it's a good race first and foremost. Jordan's Cross won last time, progressive. I thought he would have gone close 2 starts ago when he fell at Cheltenham, but whilst he showed a good attitude the last day when winning at Donny, he took a long time to get up to go past Go West, and he carried his head a little bit high, which gave you the impression he wasn't putting it fully all in. Caliphate and Vol is a horse that I will be following off a cliff at some point. I can just see it happening. Backed him the last 2 times over fences. It's been painful. I think he needs 3 miles and a flat track. I think that's probably going to be key to him. I'm unsure why they're running him back over Cheltenham. I don't think he likes the hill. But he was running a big race in the Sefton when he got injured, I'm pretty sure, last season. Push the Button has got some good form in the book. He was 9 lengths behind Steel Ally and half a length behind Meet Me by the Sea. That was Frank the other day. But I will side at a bigger price on Secret de Dieu, 16-1 James Owen. Ran well behind Bar Levento the last day. It was a close bunched finish. He gets a £3 swing for a length defeat, so that's fair, I suppose. Barlavento's 9-2, Secret de Dieu 16-1. So from a betting point of view, that would make a little bit of sense. He was behind Mambo number 5 at Newbury. That was a solid run. He was a bit detached that day. He looked a little bit in trouble. So 2 mile 4 is very much his trip. And he looked at he's a horse that's been on my radar for a while. He looked a nice horse over hurdles. He won a novice at Hereford in decent style. And I just think he's a little bit overpriced, but it's a very competitive race, and you could make a case for a few of them.
Yeah, you could, for sure. I'm actually going to make a case for... I'm going to contradict myself, because yesterday with Paul Ferguson, I was like, I don't like this Caliphate en Vol. I agree with you. I think he's going to be better on a flat track, but having watched his races back and also just paying closer attention to the fact that he's been sent off favourite in 3 of his last 4 starts, they obviously think an awful lot of him. They sent him off favourite on Chase debut as well. There's almost certainly a race in him, and it's very intriguing that Nicky Henderson puts him in here. I have a little bit more respect for him now, and he's run over course and distance twice, so the experience will do him good. And you could argue this is a more winnable race than the last day. And off a mark of 137, potentially he's interesting. It's the other McNeil family horse that I'm drawn to, though, and that's for Paul Nicholls, Quebecois. He's dropped £5 after 2 disappointing runs over fences this season. He was battered at Exeter on his seasonal debut by Doyen Quest, and he was woeful behind Salver in a Grade 2. But the fact that Nicholls threw him into a Grade 2 at Sandown on the back of only 1 start where he was disappointing, I thought was intriguing. Freddie Gingell takes over for the injured Harry Cobden. He won a novice handicap hurdle at the Scottish Grand National meeting off 131. Subsequent winners, Jump Alen, Barba Tablet, who's won twice, Calmalistic, who was pulled up that day and went on to win afterwards, and Say to Chance, who won for Willie Mullins and Danny Mullins today at Goran Park, were all in behind. That was over fences. 16-1 for a trainer who's won 2 of the last 3 runnings of this race off a mark of 135 makes him very, very interesting. So Quebec was the one I'm going to side with. Peter, for you?
Yeah, there's a couple I'm interested in here. I thought Barlavento would have a good chance, but he's probably the right price. I think he's around 4-1, something like that. Mm-hmm. But I can see him running a good race. But at the prices, I'm going to put up my old friend Scorsese. I think he's 20-1. He's a super jumper. The ground is a bit of an unknown for him. It's going to be pretty soft, I'd imagine, at Cheltenham. So that is a bit of a known, but at 20-1, 16-1, whatever he is, he's worth backing each way. He'll be going from the front, and I hope Conor Farrell will set a good pace, because this horse jumps very, very well. And if he gets into a good rhythm, he could have a chance turning in. And if he has a chance turning in, he could keep going. So I think he's a bit of value. I don't know how much he has in hand of the handicapper now. Originally, I thought he was quite well in. I thought he could end up being a mid 130s, something like that. But he's off 120 now. He won off 115 the last time. Harry Atkins rode him took 7 off, gave him a peach of a ride. So in effect, he's gone up 5 plus that 7, 12. So it won't be easy for him. But he's a bit of each way value for sure. And I just hope Conor will set a decent pace from the front and he might be able to jump his way to victory. And I definitely put something in Barlovento as well because the fast pace could suit him.
Okay. That's the opening race. The second one is the Juvenile Hurdle Trial, the JCB Triumph Hurdle Trial. This is a race that Sergino won a couple of years ago, and that's interesting because he made his debut in a race at Kempton, the very same one that Maestro Conti won pretty impressively. How good the horses were in behind, don't know, but he won by a wide margin. He's unbeaten in 2 starts, and this is his second start for Dan Skelton, having won over hurdles in France as well. He was a really slick jumper that day when he put in a dominant display, and that slip jumping will be a huge asset to him on the new course at Cheltenham. But he also faces Manelli Yoga, second start for Paul Nicholls, having been bought for a fortune after winning the Academy Hurdle at Fairyhouse pretty impressively. Nicholls could have easily gone for a maiden hurdle with him because he was still qualified for that after winning an Academy Hurdle, but instead he went for that introductory hurdle, beats Active Innocence, getting £20. Active Innocence is going to run in the last race on the card. Is Nicholls going to be back in the winner's enclosure with new man, old man, Sam Tristan Davis back on board?
I mean, he has come out and said it's probably his best chance of the weekend, Manelli Yoga. But I mean, you know, I'm not quite sure what else he's got really. But it's probably worth mentioning the Paul Nicholls form at the moment, sort of going into the weekend, is only 2 from 37. So it's just something to bear in mind.
Is this flu jab season for him?
It's well, maybe it might be. Yeah, you might be right, but it is just something to bear in mind. I mean, look, he gave it the full sort of Kevin Keegan, didn't he? After that, I loved it when he beat him and all that. So we might be seeing a bit more of that against his old assistant Dan Skelton here, who obviously trains Maestro Conti. But as you say, slick jumper at Kempton on the day after Boxing Day. We don't know what that form's going to, come out of it yet. I think Brave Guest, not sure if that's been out yet. The horse that was in second, so we'll see. But it was super impressive. Only has to give £3 away, and I just think that I'd rather be with the Skelton horse from what I've seen. And that, I mean, it did look quite a tough race that Manelli Yoga last time at Newbury when it beat Active Innocence. Had to dig deep, I think, as well, getting £20, like you say, but yeah, and we've had 3 winners win this and go on and win the Triumph as well. So definitely just saw Peace and Co and Catch It. So that's thrown up a few over the years. So, but I think Maestro's about 12s, 10s, something like that for the Triumph. So we'll shorten obviously if it wins this, which I think it will. Okay,
I'm going to side with Manelli Yoga just because the ground is going to be attritional by the looks of things. It's going to be proper soft ground. It is soft now, and there's more rain forecast. And being by study of man out of a monsoon mare and having won on soft heavy in the Academy Hurdle, that should suit Manelli Yoga. So I'm hoping that that's going to see him come to the fore, and at 5-2 with 1xBet in Ireland, I'll take a chance on him. Jake, are you with Maestro Conti, Manelli Yoga, or something completely different?
I'm with Maestro Conti. I thought it was very visually impressive the last day. I'm not overly into the stat side of things in terms of stride length and jump IQ and all that.
Cover your ears, Andy. Cover your ears.
Yeah, I know it's all got its own place. And
Paige Fuller, turn off the podcast for a second.
That's just not how I study a race or watch a race. Visually impressive. Harry Skelton had a tight grip on him. He was trying to hold him back. There was plenty of horse under him. It was almost like he was trying to hold on to something and restrain him a little bit. And Maestro Conti, similar. I'm not saying he's like a Sergino type, but it's one of those where okay, you're just going to have to let him go at this point and then just go and win the race. And he still kicked clear. He jumped really well, over-raced slightly. He gave the impression there was more to come. I do like Manelli Yoga as a horse. The Nicholls stable form would worry me as well. And just the entire, the profile around Paul Nicholls at the moment, just regressing slightly in quality of horses and everything. And it would just be typical if one of those got beat again.
You should take that back. You're a disgrace. You're only in the bottom of the barrel now.
What I would say is that form of Active Innocence is very good.
Now back it up. Actually, Nicholls is a legend. Actually, Nicholls is a hero.
No, I wouldn't go. He is a legend, but at the moment, I'd say Active Innocence form is probably the best on paper. Picked him up a little bit easier than I thought. It looked a little bit more shade cosily. But I sided with Maestro Conti. One I couldn't have is One Horse Town. I think he's third in the betting. I have a feeling his experience may be the reason he's won so many races. I think he's just a bit more developed. I think he's vulnerable to a classier horse. I think we saw that the last day when he came third at Cheltenham. albeit his form beating Precious Man was quite good. I just think something might improve past him. I think Maestro Conti is a classier horse than One Horse Town, and probably Manila Yoga as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. Now, to be fair, Winston Jr. did come out and obviously frank the form last weekend, but he's got to give a little bit of weight. He's got to give £2 to Maestro Conti and 5 to Manila Yoga. So no, I'd be going for the more progressive horses. Peter, for you?
Yeah, look, it looks as if it is between the top two in the betting, and very likely, more like it's highly likely one of them will win it. But I'll take a bit of a chance and put up a small each way bet on Sonic Pioneer. Sean Bowen rides him. He's 33 to 1. He was impressive enough on his hurdles debut when Sean rode him, and obviously didn't run his race next time out at Chepstow over the Christmas period. Sean's back on him again. On the line through, there's a horse there. What's the horse? I think it's, hold on, I'll just tell you. Is it Dissident or Zackerjack? This one's, yeah, it's Zackerjack, I think it is. On the line through Zackerjack, he has 2 lengths to find Maestro Conti, but obviously Maestro Conti won easy enough. So he has a bit more than that to find, but I mean, one is 5 to 4 and one's 33 to 1. And it's a horse race, so anything can happen. So yeah, instead of trying to work out the top 2, I'd put up Sonic Pioneer for a small each way bet, 33 to 1.
Okay, I was not expecting that. I would keep a very close eye on Lord Byron and see how he performs in the betting. He was sent off even money favourite for his hurdling debut at Exeter. He only raced twice for Aidan O'Brien. He was behind Genealogy, who Justin Carthy has purchased, and that horse ran a massively eye-catching race last week behind fellow ownership horse Winston Jr. And Justin Carthy seems like he's assembling quite a nice juvenile hurdling team. He'll have a few darts to throw at the Fred Winter, and Lord Byron might not win this, but he's going to be an interesting one. He's got Ben Jones riding for the first time as well, and obviously Faye Brandley / Tony McCoy are doing really, really well this season, so keep a close eye on that horse. We'll go on to the 115, the Exchange Handicap Chase. Jagwar is going to be a red-hot favourite for this race. He shaped really, really well on his belated seasonal debut when poorly positioned off the pace. This race should suit him very, very nicely. Moon D'Orange back to defend his crown, but Jaguar's going to be a red-hot favourite, Andy.
Yeah, he is. And 113 on the new course at Cheltenham as well. So we know the track's going to suit. Like you say, he's going to definitely improve for that third in the December Gold Cup last time out. So, you know, it's well found in the betting, like you say, 2 to 1. Booster Bob's going to have some supporters as well, with Sean Bowen riding. Couple of wins at Newbury recently, and obviously that's been franked with that Vincenzo coming out and winning last week as well at Ascot. But obviously that was second, I think, in the December Gold Cup as well. So, you know, Jagwar has sort of got form tied in with Booster Bob. 10 of the last 10 have all been 8 or younger. So that knocks out a 10-year-old Triple Trade. And quite a big stat as well, knocks out the third favourite, that Java Alan, which is 18 of the last 21 have been rated at least 130. So that's 128. So, that's probably put a line through that. Look, Moon d'Orange, you can probably make a small case only because it won it last year. And, you know, I do like that angle sometimes as well. But I think it's only 1 from 10 over fences, which is obviously this race last year. And no win in 8 now. Prairie Wolf is probably worth a mention just because Gavin Sheehan's won this a couple of times recently. Lost a shoe as well, I think, in its race against Rooster Booster. Has got a £6 pull with that as well when it came third to that. So has come out and won since. So that's interesting around 14-20. And I do think Uncle Bert is probably going to get backed in. All right. Twiston Davis has got a good record on this. He's won it, I think, 2 or 3 times in the last 10 years. Sam Twiston Davis is on. Obviously didn't stay in the Welsh National last time out when it fell, but it was still running all right up until then. The time before was when it won at Aintree. That form's been given a little bit of a boost with, was it Richmond Lake that was second that day? So look, back in trip, Uncle Bert could be way overpriced at sort of 14s or 12s. So I think Jaguar's the obvious call, but Uncle Bert, definitely the each way play here.
Jake, for you?
I think Jagwar could be a grade 1 horse. So if I think that, then he should go really close in this. I was there at Bangor on his second chase start.
Jake, if you think that, say it. He's a certainty. Go on, Jake, say it.
Yeah, he's as good as you can get. He's not material, but I was saving that for the last bit of the show.
Oh, that's mine up as well. Oh, no.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Were you all going to have
Yeah. I got that one in first. I got that one in first. Yeah. But I was there at Bangor doing a bit of work, and I watched it. He was ahead of Lowry's bar that day, and I was watching him in the parade ring, and he had like this little strut around. He's loads of scope. He was in a tricky position mid-pack, and he came through and won in the style of a good horse. And it's one of them. It's easy to say in hindsight, but you're now going, "Oh, that horse could be a bit special." The last day, with being nice to John Joe Jr., I don't think it was his best ride. He was mid-pack. He was running up the backside of horses, and he's not the most fluent jumper anyway. But when he's burrowed in and he's clustered, he gets a little bit sticky at times. And when he was brave at 2 out, he went through a gap, but there was too much to do that day. He was short of room, and then he hit the line well, and he hit the line like there was more in the tank. I wouldn't rule out a step up in trip in time. He's very classy, as we obviously know. He's highly progressive, winning the plate. Moon d'Orange is interesting, obviously, off the back of winning it last year, but I think he's a little bit in between trips. They ran him over 3 miles. He's back to 2-4 today. I think it's a little bit unsure of where they're going with him. Jagwar Alen's got form behind Mamba number 5 and Ryan's Rocket. The trip's an unknown. And then you've got Booster Bob, who's up 9 for beating leader in the park, which is a good piece of form. But he needs a strong pace, I think. He needs a race to set up for him, which he might get. But for me, Jagwar, if I think he's a graded horse, then he should be winning this.
I've backed him at 33-1 for the Ryanair today. I think he'll win this and he'll win it easily. And then
I don't mind that at all.
Yeah, and then he'll end up in the Ryanair. I would be disappointed if he is still 33-1 for the Ryanair in the back of this performance.
He's got that sort of star quality about him, I think. And you just see it sometimes when you look at horse. That's that sort of vibe I'm taking with him.
That's also a race that could completely fall apart. Right now it's dominated by one specific horse, and it deserves to be, and John Bon has suddenly emerged in there as well. But actually there could be another one to come from the woodwork.
It's worth mentioning as well, he's doing all this with the Greeno and Guerriero yard, who haven't really fired as well this season.
Yeah.
He might have needed that first run a little bit as well. So lots to like about Jagwar.
Yeah, very much so. I completely agree. Peter?
Yeah, well, I've already said it. I think in reality, I think it's between him and Booster Bob, but I think Jagwar, look, it's £100,000 race. The winner gets 56,000. So you imagine, he'll be there to do his best, but you can never tell. If he's there to do his best, he'll win. Simple as that. I agree with Jake. I think he could end up, possibly next year, I think he could end up even being a contender. I'm not saying he'll win it, but I could see him running in even the Gold Cup or something like that. He's a horse that they haven't got to the bottom of him yet. He keeps finding, he keeps improving. He's got a good way to go to develop into a Grade 1 horse for sure. And he's far away from there yet, but he's still only 7, and he has a full year of being 7, so he's still quite young. He should win this. If he doesn't, Booster Bob probably will, but there's a lot of dead wood in this race in my mind, and if he's a progressive horse like we think he is, he should be winning this, and I can see him getting shorter than 2-1, so I would be taking the 2-1.
Yeah, he's a long way to go to get to Factor Files level, but Factor File has to come back. And if he doesn't, for some reason, make the Ryanair, then that race becomes really wide open.
I'd keep a small eye on Risk in the Ground as well. Just because I think they'll line a nice pot up for him at some point. He's being rode a little bit cautiously at times. Last year when Skelton was trying to win the Trainers Championship, he was out there all the time. It seemed every other week he was running. His mark's a little high, but they're managing that. I think he could have a nice pot on him, maybe the plate or something.
Yeah, and he was sort of backed the last day, so want to keep in mind. After racing, we were talking about Jamie Wren and Adam Mills and I were talking about the weekend's racing, and we'd come up with this scumbag each-way accumulator, and of course I didn't back this each-way treble at all. The centerpiece of it was the Emmett Mullins trained Juvenile, whatever the pronunciation is, who at the time was about 9-2, and I thought, well, that horse he'll win this. And then Paul Ferguson comes on the podcast yesterday and says, he has to win this to qualify for the Cheltenham Festival. And somebody pointed out in the comment section last night, in the live comments when the episode went live, this horse is suddenly being backed only on the back of what Paul Ferguson has just said. And he's now 7-4. So I'm a genius. Absolute fool. Not a cent on him. And now I have to sit back and watch him win or take him on Andy Newton. 7-4 about the Emmet Mullins horse. Final Orders is going to have Keith Donoghue. He was really impressive over course and distance the last day. Obviously, he beat the Emmet Mullins horse. He's up in the weights now to 147 from 138, but he does have Keith Donoghue, who's an absolute wizard over this course and distance.
There was just over 4 lengths, I think, between them, and probably could have been a little bit more. Final Orders, was cantering at the end, but I think the key will be the ground. I mean, that was on good ground that day, and I think for me, Final Orders is a little bit better on a quicker surface. So, with the run under its belt as well, this how are we saying it, Jagwar or whatever. I think that's how Stuart Machin said it in commentary, something like that. Anyway,
that'll do.
Should improve for the run, obviously, and there is £6 between them now, and we've also got the third and the fourth in there as well with Icio Madric and that place net as well coming into the race over from France. But I just think personally, of those two, maybe Madric might sort of plug on for second, but everything's pointing to the Emmet Mullins horse improving last time out. Like you say, needs to win this to get into the to the big one on the Wednesday at the festival. Only 10-5 here, so I just think that the favourite will win. Personally, it's a bit boring, but
he more than likely will. And also, Gavin Cromwell couldn't buy a winner, and now all of a sudden he's the hottest trainer in the sport after winning the Thyestes. Somehow winning the Thyestes. Cover your ears, Peter. Deary me, that was a brutal one for those who were on the Robert Towner horse. He ran a blinder, but obviously a treble at least at the time of recording at Goran Park for Gavin Cromwell today. I'll take a chance now that I have to skip the Emmet Mullins horse. Maybe we should just back him blindly and get stuck in, even though he's a short price favourite. I'll go for Favori de Chamdeau. I find it very interesting that Jack Kennedy wants to ride him in the cross country race. He was 16-1 over the cross-country fences at the December meeting when he fell behind Final Orders, but on the back of that he then goes and pops up in the Paddy Power. Not a cent on him. He's been in the tracker for years. 66-1 he pops up. I'll take a chance that Jack being on board is a real positive. He's got to carry top weight, but he's won 3 of his 9 starts on soft ground. He's placed twice on soft. He's won twice on heavy ground as well, and obviously he's just coming into this on the back of a really strong effort in the Paddy Power. So
What do you make of the Elliott form at the moment, though, Emmet? Would you be worried about that? I mean, at the moment, last time I looked, they were 2
from 72.
72 now, is it?
Yeah. 2 from 72. Lovely run from the Wall Park there to qualify for Handicap at the Cheltenham Festival. That was an ideal run. Yeah, I guess you could say Staffordshire Knot went real close. Lucky Lyrene won. There's a couple that have gone close, but
yeah, he's had a few places in there. I
think this time of year, at this specific time, you're not seeing the proper Grade 1 horses. Now you're going to see them this weekend and the weekend after. If we're at the Dublin Racing Festival and Gordon has been quiet there, then I'd panic. But right now, I wouldn't. Not yet, anyway. All right, Jake, for you.
I'll first and foremost say that I dislike this race massively. I hate all cross-country races. I know, I've said it. I don't care. I just don't like watching it as a visual. I find all the same horses run against each other, and every time they run, they always switch placings. It's so hard from a punting point of view. Look, I'll take a couple of swings at big prices just for the pod. Hold your breath here, but Unanswered Prayers is 12-1. He doesn't do. My first note I put is he doesn't do much in a hurry, and I think that sums the horse up very well. He's one of those horses that seems to be quite outpaced over any trip. Charlie Deutsch is in the saddle. The last day when he ran against the likes of Jagwar and Final Orders, Icio Madric, he was given so much to do. He was out the back the entire way, and you knew your fate straight away if you were on him. A little bit like when with Mr. Coffee, he was alongside him that day. You knew the race was over straight away. If the race falls apart, he might stay on into a place. Like you say, he'll be keeping on regardless. He's just one of those horses. And then another angle, maybe some scope tackles his discipline for the first time. He's well handicapped in old form, but it might be an angle away from the big guns. He's beat some good horses in his career. He's beat Canundo Kwetu from the England yard. He's beat Does He Know from the Kimberley yard, who's just retired. That was a really nice horse. But like I said, I don't like this race much. I don't fancy much in the top. The Cromwell form, I know he's had 3 today, but that would still worry me. Like just on the bigger picture, like he's done this spell before. the yard love a gamble on the favourite, as you know, but you kind of missed the boat a little bit with that one. Sorry to bring it back up, Emmet. But
9-2.
But yeah, so it's like odd little race. Not much of a fan, but tentative on unanswered press.
Yeah, I mean, this could just be very simple. Just back the Emmet Mullins horse. Obviously, he's going to go and win, Peter. But I'm kicking myself that I didn't take the 9-2, and I don't really want to take 7-4 in a cross-country race over 3 miles, 5.5 furlongs, despite the fact that he needs to win this to be guaranteed his place at the Cheltenham Festival.
Yeah, he's a bit short now, isn't he? Obviously, he went off 7-4 last time out on his first run for Connection, so that was probably, you could read into that was significant enough. So, yeah, look, he'll probably be going very, very close, and he's probably the one to beat. Andy made a good point about the ground for final orders. I don't know if it'll be ideal, so that makes that a bit tricky, because I was going to put him up as an each-way bet, but I might still do that. It's a hard one to read. I mean, you're not getting much change out of backing a horse at 2-1 or 15-8 for this race that you've only seen once in the UK. All the signs point that, as you said, he needs to win to get in. He'll improve for the last run, I presume. He hasn't run in a while, so all the signs point to him to being very hard to beat. But every horse has to have a price, and I think he's a bit short, even though he could absolutely hack up. We just don't know enough about him to be backing him at that price. Yeah, look, of the others, I'd be struggling to fancy any of the others, if I'm being honest. So, I'd probably end up going to final orders, putting him up each way. I mean, I don't think the ground he might prefer better ground, but I still think he gets through soft ground. And I don't think it'll be worse than soft at Cheltenham. I know it's already soft, but I don't think they're due that much rain, if I'm right. I don't think they're due. When I checked it anyway, I didn't think the ground would change. I thought it would remain soft. So yeah, look, with all things considered and at the prices, I'd say final orders would be a small each way bet here, but I wouldn't be getting stuck into anything.
Yeah, proceed with caution unless you
you kind of need
unless you were smart enough to get 9-2 about the Emmet Mullins horse.
Yeah, well, exactly. Or you can't be backing him at that price unless you're connected to the stable and they tell you he's a steering job, which he could well be.
Yeah, if Paul Byrne has sent you a WhatsApp saying lump on, then happy days. Good luck to you. But we don't have that information just yet anyway. This episode is brought to you by 1xBet. If you're betting in Ireland, over 7,000 events for you to get stuck into every single day. Fast withdrawals, loads of new customer sign-up offers. Keep an eye out. There could be some really good ones coming your way very, very soon. To find out more, click the link in the episode description. It'll take you right to the 1xBet website in Ireland. 18 plus, terms and conditions apply. Gamble responsibly. The link is in the episode description. It'll take you right to 1xBet. 1xBet knows the crack. Bet with your head, not above it. Join the team that are the official betting partner of the European champions, Paris Saint-Germain, and of FC Barcelona. 1xBet Ireland. The link is in the episode description. It'll take you right to the website there now. At 2:25, the Cotswold Chase has not produced a winner of the Gold Cup since Looks Like Trouble all the way back in 19-dickety-doo. But is Grey Dawning going to shorten in the betting for the Gold Cup and develop into a proper Gold Cup contender on the back of the Cotswold Chase this year? He's currently 7-4 on. Spallan's Tower 4s, disappointingly small field. L'Homme Press, obviously a former winner of this race, 9-2, and then Flooring Porter to roar back as a 14-1 shot. Andy, who are you with?
Yeah, 2000 Looked Like Trouble. Before that, Master Oaks actually did it as well, 1995. But yeah, I mean, it had a bit of reputation of being a bit of a graveyard for favourites this race. But only 3 of the last 22 have gone in, but we've had those 3 in the last 6 years. So as definitely been, turned on its head with the favourites record. Flooring Porter's back from 486 days off, 2-time Stayers Hurdle winner, probably take him along. Spallan's Tower, you probably can't really have that. He hasn't won since, February 2024, I think. So on a bit of a recovery mission. L'Homme Presse, we talked about that last time, and it did very well under a big weight to come second here at Cheltenham last time out, and it'll be great, as I keep saying every week. Come on, Venetia, just get a winner. Come on. Yeah, and it probably be one of its last races. So, its record at Cheltenham is fantastic as well. It's 1-1-4, which was in the Gold Cup, first and then second, which was last time out. So, we know it loves the place. Can it serve it up to Grey Dawning? Don't know. 2 years gap in terms of age. Grey Dawning, we know, is okay at the track. Won at the festival a couple of years ago. Was very impressive in the Betfair. That form probably took a bit of a knock with Royal Pagaille, but I mean, the ground was too lively for it last week in the Peter Marsh, wasn't it? So the obvious one's Grey Dawning. I think 12-1 is it for the Gold Cup?
Yep.
So we'll see if they go down that route. I know Skelton was talking about not running it early in the season. They might have a change of heart after this. We'll see. But yeah, like you say, it could be the first Gold Cup winner since looks like trouble in 2000. We'll see. But yeah, great dawning. But I do love L'Impressé, and I hope he runs a good race.
I'm going to back him. I'm going to back L'Impressé. I really like Grey Dawning, but I don't want to be taking any horse that's 7-4 on, particularly on that ground. And just there is still a slight stamina doubt. It doesn't make sense to be saying that about a horse who won the Betfair Chase on the Bridle. You watch the race back, Andy. He beats Royal Pagaille, and I love Royal Pagaille. He's a bit of a hero of a horse. But my goodness, he got lapped the other day, and Handstands did nothing for the form behind the lovable Protectorat. I thought Stellar Story would have been really interesting for this race if Gordon sent him over, but he hasn't. Obviously, Hottie Calor didn't run his race that day at all. So at 7-4 on, I'll take him on. Couldn't trust Balance Tower. Good luck to you if he goes and wins. Flooring Porter is fascinating. He loves Cheltenham. Obviously, Gavin's back amongst the winners. Keith Donoghue's a fantastic rider. There's a lot to like about him, except for the fact that he has to prove that he can do it on the back of such a long layoff. So, long press. Ground is going to suit. Track's going to suit. This is Venetia Williams' time of year. Come on, Andy. This is the time. This is the weekend she does it. 9-2, L'Impressé. I'll go with him. Jake, who do you like?
I mean, well, you'll have stamina on your side. That's an important tick in the box. But like you say, Venetia's time of year, I'd be worried that she's 0 from about 18.
You keep saying this every week. Oh, this is Venetia's time of year.
Yeah.
This is Venetia.
And eventually it will come back in until it's just not the time of year and we're in bloody May and she starts having a few winners.
Yeah.
Grey Dawning, boring selection, probably wins. Obviously won the Betfair RPR of 172. Won the entry bowl RPR 171. Nothing's produced anything similar to that in a long time. Goes at the track, probably go on the ground. Like you say, if this ground absolutely bottoms out, 4-7 for any horse is short. I would like to give a small shout out to L'Impressé as well, because I think we missed the best of this horse when he was injured in 2023. He was very classy on his day, won the Brown Advisory, 4th in a Gold Cup. We were just robbed of his best years, I think, when he got injured. He's been a brilliant horse. And like you say, you have stamina on your side. I was worried a little bit about him watching him the last day. He looked like as he was travelling, he wasn't travelling with much venom. He looked like he was in trouble. He dropped to the rear, and then all of a sudden he stayed on. And that's handy for a race in this nature. I think you'll do well to find a more disappointing horse than Spillane Tower, since he won that Punchestown Novice Chase, the Grade 1, and then second in the John Durkan. I don't want to say he's been poorly campaigned, but I just don't think he's lived up to the hype. He's had a little tune-up over hurdles, which is fine. But nevertheless, off his best efforts, he still needs to improve a stone on ratings, really, to challenge Grey Dawning. And then Flooring Porter, I think I read somewhere that he's just they're going to get him qualified for the National. So their sights won't be set on winning tomorrow. Just get round, prep him up nicely, get a bit of fitness in. So yeah, Grey Dawning to win tomorrow. Interesting for the Gold Cup if they go down that route, because like you say, it's a wide open Gold Cup this year. So it'd be a brave man to completely rule him out. It's a lovely horse, jumps well, but I think he wins tomorrow.
In defence of Spillane Tower, he gets Jack Kennedy for the first time since the John Durkan Memorial Chase when he finished second to Fact to File. They sent him off 11-4 favourite for the King George. He obviously didn't run his race that day for whatever reason. Then he misses the rest of the season until he's thumped by Galopin des Champs in the Punchestown Gold Cup. And this season they've decided for some reason to send him over hurdles. He sent off 6-5 favourite at Naas, no show. He sent off 7-4 against El Fabiolo on New Year's Eve. Runs all right. Probably runs as well as could be expected. He's the most unexposed of these. So maybe at the age of 8, this is the time that he's going to come alive, Peter Michael.
And also, on the revised ratings, I mean, we've got to point out he's getting £6 off Pressé and Grey Dawning, and then he's rated 164. So
yeah,
it
he's only £2 off. He's £2 ahead of L'Impressé, who has to give him weight, and he's £2 behind Grey Dawning, who has to give him significant weight, Peter.
Yeah, look, this is only a 4-runner race, but it's a bit tricky. I think you can probably rule out Flooring Porter. Mm-hmm. So it's a 3-runner race. Grey Dawning is by far and away the most likely winner, but it is a bit tricky. And like you guys, when I was looking at it, I was thinking, oh Jesus, Spillane's Tower has been disappointing. It can't be having him. But the more you look at it, he's only like this season. well, not this year, this national hunt season, he's had 2 runs over hurdles, so it was a bit strange for them running him over hurdles. And obviously, I know he's extremely well handicapped over hurdles, but I mean, he's a grade 1 horse, so it's a bit strange to go and try and make use of that mark and not just campaign him. So I found that a bit strange. And before that, if you go back, I mean, he was a horse going places, and I think he was a horse a lot of us racing fans were looking forward to progress. Now, he hasn't progressed, but he's only had 2 runs since that race against Factifile over fences. Okay, he didn't run good in the King George, and he ran all right behind Galloping the Champs. I mean, he's beaten 22 lengths, but he did beat Monty Star and Banbridge.
Yeah.
So he is a bit tricky to work out. If he's going to get back in the right direction, surely this is a good opportunity for him to run a good race. I'm not saying he'll win, but to run a good race. La Press as well, obviously. Those 2 are probably the value in the race, but Grey Dawning's probably the most likely winner. So it's a hard race to know what way to go about punting in it or tipping in it. I won't be backing in it myself, but if I was tipping for this podcast, I'd take a chance with Spillane's Tower, because if he doesn't run a big race on Saturday, then, where do they go with him?
I'm starting to get half tempted to switch my selection and go to Spillane's Tower,
This always happens, Emmet.
I hate doing it, though. I really hate doing it, but I'm not married to the idea of L'Impresse. I just think that this is a race that should suit him. It's probably one that Venetia has been planning since his comeback.
We've never had a back-to-back winner in this either. Just to point that out, since 1980 when it was first run. We've had a few double wins, not in consecutive seasons like Many Clouds and Seymour Business, but yeah, it would be the first.
Yeah, good point. He was odds on last year, wasn't he? And now you're getting 92 about him.
A bit of a ding dong, wasn't it? Was it the Nicholls Hall Stage Star? But yeah, I mean, we all love L'Impresse.
Just the other thing that I find intriguing about this is the McManus team are obviously very heavily involved in the race planning. It's not just Willie Mullins decides we're going to run this horse there, or Nicky Henderson does. And I mention that because Chantry House won this in 2022 and Capadano won it in 2024. So I would imagine Frank Berry and Paul Byrne have had the notebook out for quite a while, and this has been circled for Spillane's Tower to try and get him back on track. So look, if he's going to be the Grade 1 chaser they thought he could be, carrying 11 stone 4 against Grey Dawning and L'Impresse, you'd want to go close here. And you've got Jack Kennedy on your side. Oh, you'd want to go real close here. So maybe the 5-1 that's available about Spillane's Tower just becomes the bet. This could be a huge day for JP McManus. The Pretemps Network, not the Handicap, the Pretemps Network Cleeve Hurdle, which is a key trial for the Stayers Hurdle, will see M. Postois, who is unbeaten on 3 starts this season over staying trips. He wins a Pretemps qualifier, first of all, at Aintree. Then he's really good against Strong Leader in his first start in group company or graded company over hurdles. And then he goes and wins his first Grade 1 in the Long Walk the last day. The Long Walk Hurdle has been won by 5 horses since Big Bucks in 2012 before going on to win the Cleeve Hurdle, including Andy Newton, a horse who did the treble by going on to win the Stayers Hurdle. So can Impostois do that? And is he going to win this race?
Yeah, they're also talking about Cecil Crack won the Long Walk, Long Distance, and then took the Cleeve, and then also when one Stayers. So we'll be trying to follow in the footsteps of Thistle Crack in 2015-16, I think that was. So yeah, Impose is around 11-2, third favourite, I think, for the Stayers. So yeah, I mean, look, been a shrewd revelation move by the Hendo McManus camp, stepping up in trip, and does race a little bit quirky or keen or whatever you want to call it, but he keeps getting the job done, doesn't he? And he's won all the decent trials up until now. This is the sort of last one to tick off the list, and has beaten Strong Leader twice in those 2 wins. Strong Leader was beaten in this last year as well, so I just can't have that. It's just a funny horse for me. Strong Leader
doesn't like Cheltenham.
Yeah, obviously it just doesn't like Cheltenham. Obviously has ability, and probably just better off to wait for Aintree. Personally, for Strong Leader. And look, Marchand 2 is Emma Lavelle, who's won this 3 times for Paisley Park and does love Cheltenham, won there at the October meeting and last time out as well. So that could go all right at all of the sort of bigger price ones. But Gal Road won it last year, but 10-year-old now. I think Hendo's never won this, actually, interestingly. He's had Champ finish second once, and I think he came 4th once, and a few others in the last 10 years, but he's never won the Cleeve Hurdle, Hendo. So, and he's got 2 in here as well. Doddy the Great, that's got a bit of ground to make up with Impostoir, but I think he can have a 1-2.
Yes, Andy.
Breaking duck here in the Cleeve Hurdle And then Impostoir will come into about 3-1 for the stayers. And I think it's got a good chance there, to be fair.
Oh, Andy, that 20s is going to look even better after the weekend. Come on, Impostoir. All right, Jake, how far does he win by?
Probably by a couple of lengths, but I'm going to side with something else. Yeah, I know. It doesn't really make much sense.
Impostoir's going to win by 2 lengths, but you're siding with something else.
Yeah, just at the prices. Like, Impostoir has beaten Strong Leader and Doddy the Great twice. I don't think those two will reverse the form. It's unclear where the improvement lies with Impostoir. He's a very progressive horse. Big yard. 5-1 for the stayers hurdle still. So if you wanted a muggy each way, he's probably going to go there. He probably won't be out the frame. And like Andy says, he'll shorten if he wins this. 20-1's a brilliant bet for him. And it's that sort of anti-post betting that you need to do in this sort of modern era. Marchand 2 is very unexposed for Emma Lavelle. Probably got the most scope for improvement out of the field. Beat Ace of Spades the last day. Ace of Spades franked the form today. Mm-hmm. And I think he might be lined up for another big pot somewhere along the line. He's a horse I followed for a while. Emma Lavelle's horses are running well. Ben Jones is riding unbelievably well and has been all season. He's such an underrated jockey. He's got a brilliant job with Paulin, but he gets these other rides from like the Emma Lavelles and other yards, and he's so good. Marchand 2 ran well in a Grade 2 last year at Donny. Seems to have taken his form to a new level. He's only 7, so he's got time on his side. He's unexposed. He's got course form. So that's an angle there. I agree with a Strong Leader. Just doesn't like Cheltenham. I'm surprised he's running, to be honest, because Strong Leader's a very good horse elsewhere. It'll be a big interest for the Liverpool hurdle when he goes back to Aintree, which a race he's won before. And Doddy the Great running just shy of the 150s on ratings, really. Obviously brilliant in the Potemps. That's useful course form. But I don't see a reason as to why he'd reverse the form of Impostoir. So I think Impostoir's biggest threat might come from Marchand 2.
Strong Leader, 5 from 9 on flat tracks, 0 from 8 on undulating tracks. Good
Yeah,
luck.
exactly. I love the Ollie Murphy yard, but I just wonder with this one what they're doing.
Day out. Nice day out for the connections at Cheltenham. Peter Michael, put a bow on it.
I think the favourite is definitely the most likely winner, but I wouldn't say he's a certainty. But I think he's the one to beat. Strong Leader, you guys have made a case that this track mightn't suit. Well, you guys have said he doesn't like it, and you're probably right. But I'm like you guys. I have a question mark over the track, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did win. I wouldn't be ruling out just yet. I mean, I think he's only raced there 4 times, and I think he's been second twice. Everything points to him, preferring the different type of track, but we'll get one more look at it there on Saturday. Of the others, Marchand 2 is an improving horse. Has won 2 out of his last 3 comfortably enough. Of course, bombed out in the 22nd when I tipped it and backed it in between those 2 wins. Couldn't move. Gowell Road has form in the book, but it's a while ago now that would make him interesting, around 14-1. But he has been out of sorts. Now, I know he didn't run too bad the last time. He's a little bit of value, I suppose, if he's going to come back to a bit of form, but you would be taking a big chance. Yeah, look, I will put up Impostoir because the form is there. Like, he ticks all the boxes, and, even though he's probably the right price, and I wouldn't say his value, he is the one to beat for sure.
Big day for JP. Could be a big day for Nicky Henderson as well. We'll wrap this up real quickly because we've got some races to touch on at Doncaster as well. But the final race of the day at Cheltenham is the 410, the Aces Novice Hurdle, the Grade 2, and Active Innocence is a 6-5 favourite. His form is going to be tested by Manila Yoga earlier on the card. Is Active Innocence going to round things off in style, Andy Newton, and cement his position for one of the exciting novice hurdlers for the Cheltenham Festival, where he'll take on No Drama This End, whose form is going to be tested in the shape of Heads Up and the Blue Room, who are going to take him on here?
Look, you should do. But I mean, I was quite impressed with that Taurus Bay, the Harry Redknapp horse last time at Aintree, travelled super duper, jumped well, beat that Captain Hugo by just over 4 lengths. Captain Hugo's come out and won since. So, do you know what? I just think that, losing at whatever, Active Innocence was 2-7 or something last time out. I mean, I'll just take a little Taurus Bay, I think, is like Jake said, Ben Paulin, brilliant jockey at the moment. And there's only £2 between him, I think, on the ratings. So, Taurus Bay for me to stay unbeaten.
Okay. As succinct as Andy Newton, Jake, for you?
Yeah, echo everything he just said about Taurus Bay. want a bigger price. Cryptic Jim's interesting, only because he jumped like a crab last time and still won. If he jumps a little bit better, he's got a big engine. He was ahead of a horse called Catching Savo at Ludlow, who won the other week. He looks a nice horse to progress. Cryptic Jim was ahead of him. Big price, 20-1. Unexposed races. I don't really like Heads Up or the Blue Room on the form that ties with no drama this end. An Active Innocence is nice. Step Up in Trip looks like it'll suit, but very similar profile to Tourist Bay, and one's 13-8 and one's 11-4.
Yeah,
So.
we covered Cryptic Jim on TalkSport 2 that day when he won last time out at Newbury, and I think it's very interesting. It's the first time tongue tie as well. Intriguing one for sure at a bigger price. I would like the Blue Room more than you, and perhaps he can take a big step forward as well, but I would prefer the favourite Active Innocence, who really should be winning this, for Nicky Henderson-Peter.
Yeah, it's a very interesting race. I mean, there's a lot of unexposed horses in it, as you'd expect, and a lot, with decent enough form. So he is short enough, but I mean, he does have pretty good form in the book, which will make him hard to beat. And for that reason, I'll probably put him up. But again, I wouldn't say he's much value. But yeah, I'd say he's the one to beat.
Okay, super quick, boys, and real sharp and succinct. There's 3 races at Doncaster that could have some bearing on the Cheltenham Festival. Highland Crystal stayed on very strongly at Newbury, but she didn't do it quickly. She's going to go for her 3rd start for Gordon Elliott over hurdles in the Juvenile Hurdle, the listed race, 12:20 at Doncaster. There's the River Don, which is a big guide to the potato race / Albert Bartlett, whichever you want to go for, but the 3-mile stairs novice hurdle at the Cheltenham Festival. The Skeltons have got the favourite for that race, just ahead of a Ben Pauling horse. Both of those horses could have gone for the last race at Cheltenham. They go for this, and Paul Nolan's got the favourite for the Grade 2 Mares Hurdle at Doncaster. Interestingly, Willie Mullins has nothing for it, which further suggests Lossiemouth will be headed to the Champion Hurdle. So we'll be headed to the Mares Hurdle, not the Champion Hurdle, because they don't have anything else for that race. Who do you like in any of those races? Andy Newton, you can include the Solarina in Ireland as well if you want.
Look, 12.55 at Donny, tricky one. I think I came down on the Pauline horse. He's won it 3 of the last 10 years. The horse that he's got in there is called that Keycore Law. It's won twice at Leicester, both on heavy ground. I think the Step Up and Triple Suit. So yeah, it's a tough race. You've got the Rocking Man in there and Carlin Rig as well, which was impressive. Impressive. It was gutsy at Cheltenham, on the rail last time out. But yeah, that's the Pauline one. The 1:30 at Donny, I came down on the Fergal O'Brien horse. That'll do. Moss was 3rd behind Susan last time out. Again, Step Up and Trip, I think, will suit that one. And then the Great Yorkshire Chase. Doc Pick Me loves the track, so that's probably going to be there or thereabouts. One last time out. Deep Cave has been running super as well this season. I think it's on a 4-timer, up £12 for all of those wins. I think they want to win this to get into the national or try and help get up the weights for the national. So that's an interesting one, but it's got 12 stone. But I think Grand Jest, the grey from the Sue Smith camp, super impressive in a Tommy Whittle last time out. That will be hard to beat. Only had 3 runs, I think, over fences, up £10 maybe for the Tommy Whittle. So yeah, Grand Jest, it looks like a chaser in the making, and in this sort of staying division, and that yard have been doing well this season with horses like Confusion. And then what was the other race you want to talk about? The Fairyhouse one.
Yeah, the Solarina. I think it's fascinating that Old School Outlaw is favourite for that race. She's odds on with the bookmaker I'm looking at. Okay, she beat Bambino Fever, and obviously that form has been franked, and she won the Champion Bumper last season, but I think she caught her cold that day. Place de la Nation is 5-2. I'll take her. Willie Mullins has got a great record in this race. Paul Townend on board. I would expect her to take a big step forward, so I'll just take the chance that she improves enough in a race that Willie Mullins has got a very good record in. Somebody clearly agrees and is losing their mind in the background. Who the hell is that?
Yeah. That's coming from my end here, lads. It's someone back to 1 to 100 again that lost like me. Running. No. So they're blowing their horn non-stop.
Jake, who do you like in these races?
12:20 at Donny. Manganese, trained by Max Comley. I think he's only 5-1 because Max Comley trains, no disrespect to him, but he's up against a Henderson and an Elliott. I think that's been factored in. He was very good the last day. Highland Crystal is also a nice horse. Just rather take Manganese at the prices. 12.55 a Grade 2 novice hurdle. Price of Peace is a big price for Rebecca Curtis at 8-1. Behind Kalkbrenner 2 starts ago. Kalkbrenner is he flopped a little bit in the Challow. Well, he flopped completely in the Challow, but he was a nice horse. he still is a nice horse for Ben Paulin. It's just a Ben Paulin propaganda show here at this point for me. But price a piece, 3 miles, big scopy horse. Will be a nice chaser in time. Carlin Riggs interested in that race because if you watch him back when he came second to the Rocking Man, I think Harry Skelton forgot he had a whip in his hand, and he just gave him an educational ride, shall we say, at that point, and then went and belted him as he went and won the next time out, but in front of They Call Me Hugo. So that's interesting. 130, I agree with Andy. That'll do Moss for the reasons he said, stepping up in trip, etc. And the Yorkshire Chase, I came down on Deep Cave just because I really like the form of the Silver Cup, ahead of horses like Highland and Johnny Who, etc. Christian Williams' horses can be a little bit in and out, but Deep Cave was winning when nothing else was from that yard. He's also beat Doyen Chief at Banger, and that had a form boost last week. Good little race. I like Grand Jest, but I don't really want to back a horse in a competitive race like this who's up 10. Walking on Air is interesting in that race, by the way, just because.
We almost made the entire show without this coming up.
I know, I had to do it, but it's so frustrating. Like, you see a Faye Bramley horse in the blue silks with a yellow star on, and you know it's ex Mullins or Henderson, and you just know they're going to pop up one day. You just need to try and find out where it is. Might be one of those, you love saying it, the application of money might help. But,
not my money, I can tell you, Jake.
No, yeah, not yours.
This race last year.
We backed him. He cost us a fortune.
I'd like to point out that is not a tip. I'm just saying at some point they will win a big pot with the likes of Walking on Air. Like No Ordinary Joe, that's another one that will pop up at some point.
Shout out to the old school Final Furlong podcast listeners who were with us a year ago. But for those of you who are new to the show, you're all very welcome. Hopefully you've hit the subscribe button. Hopefully you've hit the like button as well. Peter Michael tipped that horse at 66-1 on this day a year ago. He comes to the last. The race is over. Bang.
I thought I heard you mention that.
Yeah, it was the landing gear didn't come out.
He jumped to fine. He knuckled on landing. Yeah, this must be my unlucky time of the year because the last few days as well, the same crap has been happening to us as well.
Do you know what then? Do you know what, gents? We'll just forget I said anything about that one then.
No, it's done now. You've done it. You've brought it up and you've triggered him back into therapy. Well done.
I have, yeah. Sorry, Peter. 138 at Fairyhouse, moving swiftly on. I agree with Emmet. Place of the Nations, probably overpriced, 5-2 against Old School Outlaw. Old School Outlaw did beat Bambino Fever, but like, it's good form, don't get me wrong. Anything that beats Bambino Fever is respected, but just at the prices, there's not that much in it, I don't think. And the form from the Triumph is fine. So, yeah, that's what we got.
Yeah, I agree. Peter?
Yeah, sorry, just trying to compose myself here. Yeah, look, it's a competitive card at Doncaster, an interesting card, starting with that Juvenile hurdle. That'll be a good race. I like the Elliott horse, but you know, as we've been discussing, his form hasn't been great, so I don't know if I'll be playing there. Switch racing through to the race. Jake and Andy were speaking about the Great Yorkshire Chase. I like Deep Cave as well. Obviously, as we discussed, this was the race last year. The Walking in Air, it was a fancy of mine, and he's kind of done nothing since that day last year. But yet, all of a sudden, he's appearing in this race again. So he could have been laid out for it. I don't know. As Jake said, keep an eye on the market. But Grand Jest was very impressive as well, the way he jumped the last time. So he's to be respected. Deep Cave is one I think that should be going close. And Walking in Air is one I'd be keeping an eye on the money. So, you know, those are the three I'd narrow it down to. If I was picking one right now as we speak, it would be Deep Cave each way because he looks short to run his race and I think there's more to come from him. But I would definitely be afraid of Grand Jest. Of the others, Mighty Bandit in the 313, his form has worked out well. He's finally hit a bit of form, obviously nowhere near the horse we thought he would be after his debut for Gordon Elliott. He's very tightly priced around 6-5, but he'll have a very good chance. I think that's it. If I was picking one from that card, I'd probably say Deep Cave each way and Mighty Bandit is a win bet.
Okay, best bets and naps for the weekend, beginning with Andy the Nap Newton.
Everyone's going to be all over the treble, aren't they? Grey Dawning, Gino, and Impostoir. That pays around 7-2 if that is your sort of thing. But of those three, Impostoir is probably going to be the nap. And sort of a big shout out to Uncle Bert each way if you want a bit more of a bigger price one against Jagwar. Grand Jest at Donny, we talked about that, and Tourist Bay against the Hendo Hot Pot in the last at Cheltenham. But yeah, Impostoir is the nap.
Jake.
I'd say the best bets. Well, Jagwar is at a price at 2-1. Jagwar's the nap of the weekend. I don't really want to nap up Sergino or Grey Dawn in at 1-2. Whilst I think they'll both win. Secret de Dieu at a bigger price in that handicap. I think he's 20s now. I think he's drifted as the podcast has gone on, which is a big price for me. And then if I wanted a nap at Donny, that'll do Moss from the Fergal O'Brien yard. Should go quite well.
Okay, I'm going to do a lucky 63 on Place de la Nation. The New Line, Jagwar, Impostois, Quebecois at a big price in that first race. And Manila Yoga to continue the good form for Paul Nicholls. Well, hopefully he'll be in good form after Quebecois runs a big race. But I'm also going to do the JP McManus Aka. The New Line, Jagwar, Spallance Tower, and the nap of the weekend, Impostois. See you in Dubai if that comes off. And if not, then I guess we'll see you in Dublin for the DRF. Peter?
Yeah, look, before we started the show, I had in my head that I was going to put up Jagwar as my nap. So I'll still do that if that's okay. I'll give one on Friday. Not a great price, but we'll have a good chance. 205 at Warwick. Jura de Vejan will be around 5-4, 11-8. Should be going close to winning that. Then on Saturday, if I was going to pick a next best, I'd go with Deep Cave each way as a next best. Nice. I know he's not much of an each way price, but I'll go with him each way. But I would be very, very wary of walking in air and especially Grand Jest as well.
Jagwar, Impostois, scumbag double. We'll see you in Dublin. Dublin Racing Festival next week. The boys will be back to preview all of the key races, all of the races, in fact, for the 2 big days at Dublin. If you're going to be there, come over and say hello to Andy Newton, who's taller than we thought. Andy Newton, Peter Michael, and George will be back as well. Jake, really enjoyed having you back on the show. We'll be having you back on again very, very soon as well. Where can people follow you on social media?
Jake Wilkes 01 handles down there, and then TikTok, doing a lot more stuff on there. I've got a net bet column, and Old Gold Racing still writing in their newsletter. So you'll see my face dotting about somewhere. Good man, Jake. Excellent stuff. Peter Michael, where can people sign up to your excellent Telegram?
Yeah, like Jake said, the handle is there. So just go on to Twitter X and P Michael Racing at P Michael Racing, and Facebook I have Peter Michael Racing, so I can be located on both of those.
Andy Newton, what is the gold content coming up from you this weekend?
Yeah, sportscasting.com/UK. We've got loads of sort of trial stuff going on there. Dublin Racing Festival trends and tips whacked on there. Also involved in the From the Stable site as well, which you may or may not know. And we've talked about Ben Pauling on there. We have him on the site, yeah. So if you like that kind of thing and you want the insights direct from the trainers, there's 18 big gun yards on there. You can go on there as well. Just whack a pound trial in and you can have a little taster just for £1. So yeah, all the info gets whacked in a big email, sent out each day to members, literally coming straight from the trainers themselves. And Ben Pauling is one of those. Good man. Andy Newton, sensational stuff. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you haven't already, smash a like on this episode. It's much appreciated. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. 70% of you don't hit the subscribe button. This is the same for all YouTube channels. I don't know why. You're getting the great insight and the crack from Peter Michael, the torture of him reliving the fall of the horse who shall not be named a year ago. No, we're not going to mention it anymore. We won't do it again to you. But the great insight from Jake, the great insight from Andy. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. More specials coming your way with Paul Ferguson. If you missed the Trials Day special, that's available for you now, including an exclusive £4 discount. The biggest discount you can get for the essential guide for Cheltenham, the Weatherby's Cheltenham Festival Betting Guide. You will not get a bigger discount than £4 off anywhere else other than the Final Furlong podcast. And you can get that exclusive discount code by watching the episode and listening to the episode with Paul Ferguson, which is available for you right now on the Final Furlong podcast and YouTube channels. From Andy Newton, Jake Wilkes, Peter Michael, and me, Emmet Kennedy, have a great weekend. Look after yourself and each other. We'll talk to you Monday with Jamie and Adam. Till then, God bless.
Thanks for spending some time with us on the Final Furlong podcast. We're independent media, so if you like what we do, hit like, share, and subscribe. It's free, it's quick, and it genuinely helps. And if you enjoyed this episode, there's plenty more where that came from. Don't miss out. Subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all major platforms, and join us on the gravy train. The Final Furlong podcast, independent, unfiltered, and powered by you.